Hi, welcome to High Value Parenting. For today's lesson, we're going to talk about breathing. Breathing is one of those things that obviously we're used to doing as adults, children also, but babies, they haven't really had a lot of experience breathing. As a result of this, they don't know how to breathe yet. They will reflexively breathe. That's not the issue. The issue is that they need to be deliberately breathing when they're talking, and so as one of the elements of talking, we teach them how to breathe. We teach them awareness of breathing. Put yourself in your baby's position, mentally. No language, no internal dialogue. It's all experience and what's happening right now. So there's a little bit of memory from day to day to day. But the first few weeks, the first few days, it's mostly sleeping and eating and growing. So you won't be getting a whole lot of active learning from them. But what you will get is some time to actively practice your approach to teaching them. So we need to make small steps as we're teaching them, because what holds any of us back in our learning experiences is when we reach something, a roadblock or a problem that we don't know how to get around or how to solve. And so until we overcome that roadblock, we can be stuck there for a very long time, maybe weeks, maybe months, maybe years, maybe decades. It depends. Maybe we just give up. And so what happens is, by breaking the problem area into smaller steps, we can often overcome the obstacle that prior to that, trying to tackle the whole thing, we couldn't get through. So for our children, what we're going to be doing is making the lessons, mine to you and you to them, much smaller, much more granular, so that it can be overcome easier, and then the next lesson will take place, because you can identify then exactly what the problem area is and work through it. So by way of example, if I was going to teach you algebra and you haven't learned how to count yet, there's a major problem there. You'll have to figure out an awful lot of it on your own. But if we're teaching algebra and I teach you how to count, that's the first step. And then we can go from there. But the first step will be the roadblock if we don't address it and prepare you for it. So same for your children. We're going to do the first step then for breathing. The way that's going to work is that at some point, your baby is going to be aware of you more, and at some point, they will be aware of their own breathing. So in my life, with my boy, I would, to try to get his attention and show him this, I would breathe in and out in front of him, making eye contact. And for a while, he kind of looked at me, but didn't really pay any real notice. Didn't make any sense to him, and I kept doing it. Not every single day, but I kept doing it when I remembered. And one day he kind of surprised me, because he just looked at me and he started it, and he went. He's communicating to me before he had words that he knew what I had taught him and that he was copying it, and he was very proud that he had learned what I taught him, even though it's so simple of just controlled breathing. He hadn't been able to do that before. He hadn't realized that he could do it, and he hadn't practiced it or been aware of it. So the pride was evident on his face that he had learned what I was teaching him, and he knew that I was trying to teach him that. And so in that way, when you start breathing deliberately in front of your baby, they will not be immediately repeating it. So if that's a thought of yours, put it out of your mind. That's not going to happen. all of the lessons that we give from parent to child will take a while for the child to learn and repeat back. And the earlier the lesson, the longer it's going to take for them to get it. So when I tell you to start this very early, say the first week that your baby is born, it will take quite a while for the baby to notice. But you will get better and be a better teacher the more you practice. So if you start the first week, you breathe a couple times with eye contact, and then the next day, and then the next day, and you just keep doing it. And at some point, you will have your child's attention, and at some point, they will, something will click, and they will recognize that you're giving them a lesson. And then they will start being more aware of their breathing. They're developing awareness as, if you were in their position, awareness of how to move, how to try to get your attention, how to respond to that. And I'll cover that in another video. But just for the breathing lesson, you're just going to try to show them how to breathe deliberately until they repeat it back to you, and they will know what they've done. It won't be something they do without realizing, because it's a conscious breathing exercise. So that's the first part of teaching your baby how to talk, is for them to recognize that it's communication and that they're going to be taking lessons from you and repeating back the lessons you give them. So I'll wrap that one up for now. I'm trying to keep these short. So if you have any questions, you can contact me, reach out, and I'll talk to you later.